So tell us where you are, what you're doing.
Okay, so I in business or in life?
Whatever you want. Tell us about your business first.
Okay, all right, okay.
And where you are.
Okay, so I run a fun little business called Organic Empire, and it sells.
Super successful business.
It does okay, yeah. We sell organic food, and we have a shop, we have a home delivery, and we sell to some of the best organic stores in Melbourne. And so I do that because I believe in organics and I believe in good food. And
so the motivation behind it, because obviously we've known each other for a long time, and
yes.
From where you started to where you are now has obviously been a huge journey, starting from doing it from your house. I remember going to your house and seeing you packaging food on the floor and in the living room, and
and then I moved outside, and then I moved into my dad's garage, and then I moved into a factory, and then I bought a farm, and then everything.
And then, so what was the motivation behind it to start it?
Okay, to start with, we both know we both had babies at the same time.
Yeah. Not together, just to make that clear.
At the same time. And when Riley, I was pregnant with him, I had to have an x-ray because they wanted to make sure that I could deliver babies naturally. And anyway, I came home and went, holy shit, I've just put all these x-rays to my baby. Like, what can I do? And that started this catalyst of a journey of health and everything to do with the body. It was the impetus for everything in my life and made me question everything, was that actual moment. And so then one thing led to another, and I started learning about all the chemicals that were going in food, and then realized that I needed to feed my kids organic food, and then I started just buying like bulk lots, and then friends would say, oh, can you get me some? And then, my uncle, he was like, you need to do this as a business. And I was like, I don't want to do this as a business. I don't want to make money from people. And, I just want to do it because I love it. And he was like, no, the more money you make, the more people you can help.
Yeah, and that's incredibly true.
100% was like, I took that thought away, and I was like, he's right. And so then I started as business. And
started it all on your own?
All on my own.
No help from anyone?
No help from anyone, no assistance in any way.
Yeah.
And so I started in my house. And I would just get orders. I set up a little shitty website. And then
But that's how you learn and grow, right?
100%. And then people would just, it just word of mouth just kept on spreading. And then bit by bit, it just kept on growing organically, ironically. And,
no puns.
Grain of puns. And so then I was like, well, I need to buy a farm, because I heard this great writer called Julian Cribb talk, and he was talking about the coming famine and how important it was to learn to grow your own food. So I was like, well, I'll buy a farm, and then I could teach other people to grow their own food and, put it in the store and have that really close connection of food to farm. And so then I bought a farm in Mount Evelyn. And then from there, it just has gone through.
And so what would you say the biggest differences are with organic to conventional? Because a lot of people are like, oh, organic, it's bullshit. It's just more expensive.
Okay. Well, I heard this great analogy the other day, and it went something like this. If you went to the supermarket and everything was organic, and then you got to the register and they said to you, we're going to discount this by 50% if you let us spray it with fly spray. Besides, would you say yes?
Yeah.
Realistically, I think that's the best, because the reality is, putting chemicals putting chemicals on food is not necessary to grow food. We can work with nature to grow food without putting chemicals that we know affect the brain, affect fat metabolism, attack the liver, you know, mess up kids' digestive systems, as well as destroy the soil, the microbes.
As well, like, and a massive thing for me has been flavour. Like the difference in
100%.
flavour is
because when a lot of food is grown in Australia, it is pumped with compounds that help it absorb water quickly. So it swells up, it looks beautiful, it's got like nice colour, but it diminishes the flavour. So in organic food production, the food is naturally vine ripened or tree ripened for the most part, with some exceptions, bananas and stuff like that, which are harvested green. But and what that does is it allows the sugars to naturally concentrate in the fruit or vegetable or whatever it is, and it creates a different flavour. And that flavour is intense. Like, and you can like taste it particularly in things like tomatoes. Anything with a higher water content, you can taste the flavour better.
I always find it like nectarines, apricots, things like that taste a million times better because they haven't been sitting in cold storage for 12 months or however long. Exactly.
And like particularly apples are one of the ones as well, like that are kept in cold storage for around a year on average, and still sold. And you know, the flavor's got to be diminished after that.
What about nutrients and nutrient value and that sort of stuff?
Oh my God. Okay. Well, don't ever get me started.
All right. We've unleashed Pandora's box.
You're going to wish you had it. So, hey, look, in a nutshell, obviously, when you allow a plant to create its own immune system, because that's what you do when you grow food organically, it has more antioxidants, which are basically its immune cells that work to protect the plant. And those antioxidants are then transferred into us and then protect us. So basically, the stronger the immune system of the plant naturally, the stronger the transfer of energy and nutrients. So basically, the way you look at putting pesticides on fruit and vegetables is like basically just giving it antibiotics all the time. And we know as humans that if we have too many antibiotics, it ruins us. It kills
absolutely.
Everything, and our ability to fight disease naturally is diminished. Well, the same thing is with fruit and vegetables. And so when we take away their ability to fight, whatever it is, an insect, or then we diminish their ability to transfer nutrients to us.
What about the mental state and affecting your mental state as to eating non-organic and eating organic? Is there benefits?
Well, I don't know that there's been any conclusive study on that correlation. I know that the cleaner you eat, the less toxins you put in the body, the better your cells communicate. And so what that means is, because everything, you know, that we know right now comes down to gut health. And whatever we're putting into our bodies is affected by chemicals. So if we eat food that's heavily laden with pesticides, insecticides, it kills our natural gut bacteria.
So,
there's a correlation between the brain and the stomach.
Absolutely. And it's funny because I was talking to a guy years and years ago who was running a vegan shop, and he was vegan and he looked super healthy. And I said to him, one thing I can never understand is, you know, because you always look at a vegetarian or a vegan lifestyle as being a super healthy lifestyle. And I said, how come I see people that are still overweight and still don't look super healthy, but they're vegan? And he said, well, you know, vegans still have shit food. We still have vegan chips, vegan chocolate milks, and all this sort of stuff. So exactly to that, to your point, that, you know, you can still be eating shit, but be trying to live a healthier lifestyle.
100%.
So what do you tell people, you know, that are going through that sort of stuff?
Gravitate towards stuff that comes, the most unadulterated stuff. You know, like the stuff that's its most natural state. So you're craving potato chips, get a potato, cook it up. You know, like you're craving chocolate. Well, there's no real.
You just have to eat it.
Just eat the chocolate.
But it's, you know, that's zig and zag too, isn't it?
For sure, and there's balance. You know, like we live in this world where there are all these indulgences we can still enjoy if the majority of our life is, you know, the good stuff. And it doesn't matter about the 20% that's, you know, not so good. It's just as long as your 80 is
so have the 80% super healthy
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's been a time where I've been to your place where we haven't eaten a shit ton of bread and a shitload of pasta.
Yeah, right.
And wash it down with a fair bit of wine.
Yeah, and so the thing is with that kind of stuff is that's pretty clean food, as long as you're eating a sourdough bread, you know, because there's differences between a loaf of bread and a loaf of sourdough bread. You know, a loaf
100%.
of sourdough bread is pre-digested, so the body absorbs it easier. So you generally, it's going to take it and you're going to generally process it a lot better.
Yeah.
But, you know, a loaf from the supermarket that's just like a factory kind of loaf is not going to have those same benefits. And it's actually going to cause inflammation in the body.
Yeah.
So there is definitely balance, you know, like have pasta. Pasta's got 2 ingredients, but, you know, it's still white flour. So make sure that like you balance that out with a big salad and, you know, lots of fruit and
lots of good meat to go in the sauce.
If you're into dead animals.
Well, I mean, there's health benefits for eating animals too, yeah.
Well, look, I
know this is something that we'll probably always debate.
Yeah, but look, I believe each person to themselves. I think for me, I don't need to eat meat. But, you know, I think that everybody biochemically is very different in their needs. And so I wouldn't say that people don't need meat. I say I can live without it.
Yeah.
But, you know, each to their own.
Each to their own. And so you have obviously got a super, super successful business. You're super busy and always have been. You're one of the people like me that, and Mark and heaps of other people that we know that are always running around like idiots, working. How do you balance it?
Well, I have a couple of practices that I make sure that I check, like I do every day. Every day without fail, I'll do yoga, meditation, and I'm contemplating putting back on my running shoes. But some physical movement as well.
So the meditation part, that's one that I really, and we talk to everyone about that, and especially with you, because you are always go. Your mind is always racing. And the biggest thing that I always get from people when I talk to them and say to them, you should jump into meditation, they're like, no, I can't. My mind just races too fast. I can't sit still for more than 30 seconds. Coming from someone like you, who is, your brain is probably working faster than anyone that I know. And hence as to why you're always late for every meeting or dinner or whatever it is.
Like everything.
Yeah, everything.
I don't run by time, but you know.
Well, which is a good thing. So how did you jump into that space of meditating? Because it is, you know, really pull yourself back and sit in that space. And
well, I think at the start, it was really challenging because it seemed so unnatural. And it also seemed like such a fucking waste of time because I was like, I could be like doing something, you know, I've got to do some work or I've got to, you know, make this call or whatever. But with like a continued commitment, I realized that by stopping, I could do more and I could, but also like it would take the edge off.
Yeah.
So things would lose their urgency. And my stress levels would drop. So I'd be more effective at whatever I was doing as well because, you know, and so anyway, gradually I would see these like little incremental changes that would happen until I realized it was like a part of my life because without that stopping, like, you know, I probably would have like burnt out a couple of times because I am quite erratic and go.
And we've all been in that position, haven't we? We've all almost burnt out a few times. And you know, challenges in business, they all, you know, for me, they always roll into life as well. And
for sure,
you know, how you deal with that and, you know, people around you and, you know, you've been probably, you know, we've been best friends for probably like 34, 35 years.
Yeah, a long time.
And we've constantly been a really good source of feedback for each other through personal and through business, and we've seen each other go through the ringer with both. And I know one thing that you've always struggled with is growing your business and thinking, fuck, what am I doing? Why am I? And you're just working more and more and more and seeing those battles roll through. And now you're at a really amazing level and you've got some really amazing staff behind you. But how do you get through those battles along the time and along the years?
Well, I think the most important thing is being passionate about what you're doing. And rather than differentiating between life and business, you know, because this is separate. They have to be one and the same because you're spending your days doing it. So for me, it absolutely has to be about loving what you do every day.
Yeah.
Because without that, then you can easily give up when shit gets hard, because shit's always going to get hard. It's like, you know, but if you love what you do, then you decide to go, you know, I'm gonna keep going.
But it becomes less, you know, like sometimes I find that those because you love what you do and you're so passionate about it, maybe external people could potentially look into your business or the challenge that you're having and think, fuck, that's like, they're really heavy things. But because sometimes, you know, whether you're super focused or you're just super passionate, you don't kind of take them on or perceive them as to be massive challenges.
For sure, 100%. And so it just becomes normal, you know, it's just like, all right, what is this hurdle? And I think also there's this thing that I've kind of come to understand is this separation between ourselves and the problem, and being able to step out and look at it and then realize that every problem or every challenge is just an ability to like think differently or grow or like learn something new, or because that's what it is. It's just like, you know, it's just the mountain to be climbing, but the mountain is actually us. You know, it's just every step of the way. It's just, and and
that's a funny thing. When I was talking to Steve Knapp the other week, and we were talking about the challenges, and I said to him about climbing the mountain. I said, and boulders are falling off in your way. He's like, mountain. He said, man, I'm climbing fucking cliffs. He said, and I constantly feel like I'm about to fall off. And it, you know, it can absolutely feel like that sometimes.
For sure. But that's all part of the thrill. Isn't that part of why we do what we do?
Because if it was easy,
everyone would do
bored.
it. And we'd be bored. Like as soon as shit gets easy, we complicate our lives. We add in something else, you know, but that's, for us, you know, part of that, like we love to be challenged. We love to have something new to grasp and to understand and to
do you think it's innate? I mean, I do. It's innate in certain people, because a lot of people will say, well, why can't you just be content and settle with what you've got?
Yeah.
And I know for sure that, you know, you're the same as me, that you get to the point you're like, I just want contentment. I just want to feel on a level where I'm not stressed and this and that. And as soon as you get in there for maybe a day or a week, then what happens?
Then all of a sudden you go, this is shit. No. Look, do you know what? I'm going to be honest. I have got to some points in my life where I've gone, oh my God, I have everything. I'm so blessed. I don't need more. But then there's this part of my brain that says, you don't need it, but you love doing it. If you don't want to keep it, you can give it away. You know, like I was saying the other day, I feel like if you know how to make money, you have an obligation to do so, and then you can give it to whoever you want to, whoever needs it more than you. If it's not something that you love doing, like you love or you want to keep, or you can give it away. But if you can do something, then you kind of, that's your gift to this world.
And that's, you know, that's exactly what I found. I was sitting in my meditation last night, and I'm doing these 75-minute ones that I've told you about. So every day I sit into this meditation, 75 minutes. And the one thing that really came out for me was that the more I build on myself, the more, you know, amazing that I become. That means the more I get to give to people.
100%.
And the same thing with, because, you know, everyone at some point has always had this challenge. And I know that you have as well, with, you get to this, you go through this guilt phase of like, why do I want to make money? Why is it all about money? And it's not necessarily about the money, but like you said, it's the vehicle to get you to a place where if you're making a shitload of money, then you can absolutely share as much of that as you want with people, and teach people, and, you know, sit down with people and have super long discussions, or coach them and mentor them. And you don't have to worry about that money factor of it.
No, because money is really the cause of, especially in our Western world, the majority of people's stress and lives. You know,
absolutely.
Because, you know, we live in a capitalist world where we have to work to make money, and then to provide our, you know, a roof over our head, we need money, and everything that we do revolves around money. And so if you can give it to people that need it more, then fantastic, you know, and also, like, let's not be completely altruistic, because it's not, because like we also get to have good lives and do what makes our heart sing when we make money. So like, I think definitely for me, like I grew up with this kind of negative association with money.
Yeah, me too.
And so I kind of had guilt definitely around making money, and also the desire to make money. And like,
it's because you feel greedy if you're doing 100%. It all, you know, I'm focusing on making money. Life's supposed to be about more than that, but there seems to be this driver to do it. It is almost the release of to have freedom.
For sure. And that's 100%. I think there's two scales to freedom. You know, you can make a shit ton of money and you can do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Or there's the other side, which is you can have none of that and also decide that you can do whatever you want to do. But like for me, I feel like the more fun way is to have the money to do what I want to do.
Because then you've got less stresses in your life. But also too, like in saying that, you know, we're both quite successful and we don't have those issues with money, but we still keep a lot of our lives super simple. And you know, like we were just talking about, like one of our favorite things to do is let's have a cook up. Let's just eat and have a laugh. And we do it at someone's house, and it doesn't have to be more than that. It doesn't have to be, you know, 6-star Michelin restaurant or any of that bullshit.
I can't stand that crap.
And it's, you know, that's what I wanted to ask you before, is that, you know, as much as you might, you know, people might look at it and say, oh yeah, but pasta's not good for you, this and that. But, and I know that you're huge on this because you've always told me about it. It's soul food.
100%.
And what it does for your soul when you're eating something that you absolutely love.
For sure, because like when we eat food that we love, then our cells kind of receive it differently. And it makes us happy. You know, there is obviously kind of other kind of like issues surrounding, you know, emotional eating. But but in a general terms, like if pasta makes you happy, then you should enjoy it because it makes you happy. And this life is for that enjoyment, you know, to savor the pasta and to sit with friends and to drink the wine, or, you know, whatever it is, those simple things are the most beautiful. And they fill up your soul, because also like when we share food with friends, or, you know, we fill up more than just our stomachs. You know, we fill up our hearts and our minds.
And that changes our energy levels too.
100%.
And that energy is radiated and transferred to people. And
100%. And then we go forth and, you know, we go to the world with different energy because we're full. You know, it's this whole, there's magic in that.
100%. There's magic in life everywhere. One, I wasn't sure whether we're going to talk about this one or not. Because I know you've got some really strong views on it.
Oh, you should not open this guy.
I want to, because I think it'll be exciting. I think we might have some, you know what, I don't really have any opinions on it, but the pandemic that we're in at the moment.
Okay.
So while you talk about that, I'm going to eat my banana, because I know that you're going to go on about this for a while. I'll interject when I feel I need to.
I won't bore anyone. I have a few concerns about the pandemic we're currently in. Massive concerns, actually.
So a few concerns is just an understatement.
Look, do you know, I don't know enough about the virus to comment on what's happening to people. But what I do know is what is happening to Victorians at the moment is separating us from everything that makes us healthy and happy. And that's
human connection as well.
Human connection. It's, you know, that's the stuff that humans absolutely need, is the ability to be able to connect with each other, because, you know, humans are multifaceted, but the one thing we know we need is food, water, shelter, connection.
Love.
And love. And without that, I'm like quietly concerned for you know, the people of Victoria, because, you know, we're very fortunate, you know, we have families and we have work still that, you know, so we still have those connections, but a lot of people don't have that.
And I think like the concerning part for me is, you know, the elderly, and there's two parts to it. Obviously, they're more susceptible to getting it, and the impact on them is a hell of a lot greater. But also too, missing that, you know, missing that connection with people. Because for me, once you get old, like I look at my mum and dad, my auntie and uncle, and all those people, they sit around at the house waiting for people to drop in to see them. All they want to do is cook for people, come over and talk, and that's how they pass their time in their later years. And if you're being locked away from everyone in those critical parts of your life, it can have devastating effects.
100%. Like my grandmother's 85, and normally every Sunday she has, you know, 20, 30 people, like all my cousins, and she can't have anybody. Yeah. And it's the middle of winter, you know, it's too cold to go outside. That loneliness, like, you know, I can still call her, but that's heartbreaking.
That's isolating in itself.
100%. And look, I don't have answers to everything or anything, to be fair, but but I believe there has to be another way. Yeah. And I don't feel that separating humans is the answer. I also don't believe that, like, you know, house arrest is the answer. But let's not
go too far down that tunnel. We won't go down that tunnel, because that can be an interesting chat. What about what about the business? How have you guys gone through the pandemic?
So we're probably one of the 1% of businesses that has definitely excelled through the pandemic. Yeah. For a couple of reasons, we believe. First of all, people are realizing how important their health is. Yeah. And so they're going, what do I need to do? They're asking all the questions, and they're getting to organic empire, or organic food in general. Yeah. But also, you know, people are home, and they're home, which, you know, we have to talk about something beautiful of the pandemic. There's a couple of really beautiful things. And that is the fact that families, when they have families, are together and they're home and they're cooking.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful. Like, parents are spending more time with their kids than they probably ever would in a year. Yeah. You know, like, there is real connection, and, you know, and people are also reevaluating their lives, going, wait a minute, I was working in the city. Why was I doing that? You know, I can have a great life doing something else. 100%. So there's lots of really beautiful things that have come out of this time.
It's not people putting importance back to themselves.
100%.
Like, I was outside the other night at nighttime, and I quite often do it, just go out the back and have a look around, and like I can see so many more stars.
100%. The sky's so clear.
Absolutely. And from where you are, like, you're miles out in the bush.
It's nearly, some nights it's nearly just like stars. There's no sky. It's just
which is, you know, like, we haven't been able to see that for years.
Yeah, it's incredible. But look, it's a double-edged sword, you know. But, you know, in terms of business, it's been a great thing for business for us. Yeah. Tragically, not the same story for the majority of other businesses. And I can't imagine how shit that would be. Because it's nice and easy for us to talk about, like, the glory of, you know, that we have that, but then a lot of people haven't. And so that's really, really got to be a shit kind of.
It would be, you know, some people are putting their whole lives into a business to watch it disintegrate in months, and there's no way of being able to pull back out of it.
Nothing that they can do, nothing that they can fix, because it's nothing to do with them.
So how do you get through that? Like, that's something that's you know, I've thought about a lot. I've been super curious about.
Yes.
And you know, same for us. We're in a fortunate position where we've got, you know, construction businesses and development and architectural, and we haven't been impacted as much as not even nearly as much as what everyone else has. If I was in that position now, like, how do you get through it? I know that I would find a way. I know that you would find a way.
Yeah. And I wonder sometimes, you know, because energetically it would it would be soul destroying, albeit for a short time, to lose everything.
Yeah.
But, you know, I suppose, again, we've not been in that position, but we have been a million times over.
Yeah.
Shit gets really hard. You have to start again. You know, there's no other options.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there has been.
Is it just reinventing? Like, I know that there's a guy from Just Italy, and he's opened like 6 or 7 restaurants, and so now they're all closed. But he's all over all the social media stuff. He's brought out all these really cool masks that say "Vaffanculo Corona." So, but you know, so he's engaging, but he advertises on his Instagram pages where he's like, all right, this area, I'm going to be out here delivering fresh pasta on this day. Who wants some? So he's finding new ways, home delivery and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and I think like a lot of the kind of food-based businesses have been able to pivot quite easily, but not so easily for other businesses, you know, who like homeware, giftware, or
retail
service, retail,
Absolutely.
you know, especially like the smaller independents, because the larger stores, they're fine. Their customer base knows where to find them.
Yeah.
And they kind of know their sizing, so they know they can just trust to buy online.
Yeah.
But I think it would have to just be like, this is an opportunity to do things better. You know, we come
Pull the
back,
whole business apart and look at it from every different angle.
Exactly. Like, use this time to dust out all the cobwebs.
To be creative. Because everyone gets pulled out of the creative when you're working in the business, grinding it out. You lose all the creativity.
Of course, because, you know, it's just focusing on the day to day.
Yeah.
You just got to get through the day. And, you know, stepping out is such a gift, because you get to go, hey, wait a minute, like, what if we did this? Or like, what if we like...
What was working, what wasn't working,
Exactly.
what can we do better, what can we do smarter? Even I've told some people, have a look at your client base and see which clients you don't want to do work for anymore.
Exactly.
Because sometimes we get all those people and you cling on to them, but you don't need to, because they're shit clients.
Well, they're painful, you know, and they cost you more than you realize, because they take your time, they take your energy. Sanity.
Money.
So, and also maybe it's like a reinvention to go, hey, wait a minute, like, were we charging enough for this? Or how can we do this better? Or how can we, like, you know, just go through everything. If you've got time now, my recommendation would be to go through everything, go through your numbers, you know, triple check them, work out how you could do things better, because like, it looks like we're going to be coming out of this shortly, hopefully.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you want to be running, like, when it happens.
Ready to roll. Cash flow. Like, cash flow is king, yeah?
100%. Cash flow is king.
That's the one thing that I'm super grateful for, that Mark's in the business, because he's good with cash, and he's all over the cash flow. I'm good with spending it. He's good with keeping it.
You're good with the people. Like,
yeah.
People. He's the finance. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's so important, you know, like, because I remember when I first started my business, although, you know, I've got to be honest, like, my family's Calabresian, we've always been but
this goes hand in hand.
So, you know, I've always been quite tight, you know.
Yeah.
But
it's an understatement.
He's a dick.
No, it's not, because we always are. You're not that tight, because every time we go for dinner, we always argue about who's paying.
Yeah,
that's embarrassing. Every time we get to the counter.
Yeah, but you know, I suppose in business, you've got to be smart with your dollars.
100%.
Because, you know, otherwise there's no business. Yeah. You've got to stop spending, you know, you've got to like just focus on how do you make more money, or how do you serve more people? And I probably have to say, my brain says, how do we help more people? You know, like, rather than focusing on the money, because the money is just energy. Yeah. And, you know,
it's just transaction.
Exactly. You know, focus on the stuff that makes your heart sing, which is helping people, and everything changes, you know? And so for me, I'd say to people, like, focus on how you can help more people. Yeah. You know, what does that look like? You know, how can you do it 100 times better than you were doing it before? Yeah. Who do you need to connect with? Start writing lists. You know, I'm a massive list keeper. Like,
what about journaling?
Oh my God, journaling.
Talk to us about journaling.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, I'm a big believer that, you know, once we get stuff out of our head, that you can either make magic happen with it.
Yeah.
So I just want to tell everyone something. Back to lists for a second. I believe that if you can articulate what it is you want in life, you can have it.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah.
So if you want to go overseas, you need to be able to decide what that looks like, how much money you're going to need. And I've got to tell a story quickly.
Yes, love stories.
But like when my boys were little, I decided, which I wanted to go and live in Italy for 6 months.
Yeah.
Didn't want to spend a day of it working, but just wanted to be in Italy. And I decided how much money we needed for the trip, which was like $40,000 for 6 months, not including airfares. I wrote it up on the wall. We needed it by a specific date.
Yeah.
And anyway, the boy's dad, at that time, he was working a job. We came to like maybe a month before we were meant to leave, and we didn't have the money. Yeah. And he was like, "What are we going to do?" I was like, "We're going. We're gonna go. It's gonna, And this is no word of a lie. The next week, his work went into liquidation. Yeah. And we got the exact amount on the wall as the payout. That's amazing. So we went to Italy. Yeah. I was, with you. And we stayed for 6 months. And, so that was a really interesting lesson for me in knowing what you want in life. Yeah. And so I'm massive on lists. Everything is about...
write it all down. Have a dream book, have a dream.
Exactly. But back to journaling, I think journaling's so important to get to know yourself better. Yeah. Because you're
taking everything out of your mind. Exactly. Before you go into journaling, I want to go back to your lists. Yeah. Because there's so many people that I've tried to say to, create your lists, write down your goals, do all this sort of amazing stuff. But so what do you do when you are going through this with people and they're like, it's just not going to work? I can write this down, but it's not going to work.
So I tell people all the time about this shit.
Because I'm like, we're very similar. When we find something that works and we find something that's amazing, we are ramming it down people's throats.
We're like vomiting it in their mouth.
To the point where people are like, all right, back off, fuck, leave me alone. Like we can be over the top with this stuff, right?
100%, because we want everyone to have that same magic that we get to experience. And we just
the magic of life.
Yeah, and we want everyone to experience it. But sadly, everyone doesn't want to. Well, they don't.
I put it down to change. Because people say that they want this stuff, but then they put it in somewhere where it's more of a dream than what it is a reality. And then when you explain to them, you can absolutely have this, but you've got to change who you are. You've got to change to get all this. You've got to really work hard at it to get this stuff and believe it.
Well, and I'd probably back that up with change is probably the hardest thing that we undertake.
Oh, because people want to stay in that zone of comfortability, right?
Because humans are built for safety. Our brains are wired to keep us safe. And anything that is outside of our comfort zone scares us.
But the crazy thing is, and it's easy for me to say, I suppose, because I've done a lot of study on it, and I know that you've done a lot of study on it, and going through all the Dr. Joe Dispenza stuff and reading his books, you see that if you are not changing, you are living the same day on repeat. 100%. Everything you wake up, 99% of wake up and they grab their phone and they go to their Instagram or their Facebook, and they did that same thing yesterday morning, and they're looking for the validation of who's liked my pictures, who's viewed them, blah, 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 blah. You get up, you have a shower, you listen to the same song in the shower, or you do the same amount of time in the shower, you get dressed, you go to work, you do the same shit all the way through, you get home, and you're feeling those same emotions. And people get to that really emotional place where they attract, or they need to feel those emotions of feeling a bit shitty or feeling a bad situation, because they relate to those emotions to tell them that's who I am.
For sure. And they know what to expect.
They know what to expect. It's a comfortable zone. But to try and show people that, hey, if you just change a little bit, or if you just create a little bit of growth, your fucking life changes, and you see this magic that comes through. And you're not living the same day over and over, because we've all been given the same opportunity.
It's a really difficult one, I think, because I learned a long time ago to stop, I haven't entirely learned, but to stop trying to show. I'm like a little bit more tactful now.
Yeah.
But people, like, you can't make anyone change.
Mm.
And this is the thing I know now with 100% certainty, is that you have to let people be who they are.
That's hard. That's a hard journey, isn't it? For people like us, because I'm,
hard.
we're one and the same. I've probably said it 20 million times through this whole chat, but because we get so excited about it and we just want to help people and want to push them through, and yes, let's do this and let's do that. But, and I've only recently learned that I can't do that, because I'm either taking on all people's problems for them, or I'm pushing them to the point where they're like, that's enough. I actually don't want to change. I don't want this shit in my life. It was just a dream, and it's nice to just think about it, but acting in it, I don't want to do it. And you would get that all the time, because you're a super energetic person and people are just drawn to your energy. And they, everyone wants to be like Ange.
I don't know.
To a point.
I don't know.
But you know what I mean? Like, they want to feel that energy and vibe off your energy.
Yeah.
And that's super hard too, because people will take that.
Yeah, so I think time has taught me that you need to kind of protect your energy a little bit as well now. Like, I'm the same all the time, like there's no on or off switch with me, but
just on.
It's
there's definitely an on switch.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't seem to attract that much anymore. I think at one stage when I felt like I wanted to change everyone or improve everything, then my energy was definitely attracting that more. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that door was open, which said, but now I feel like I'm a little bit more, you can be whoever you want to be, and I have no right or anything to say anything. You can experience your magic as it is, and whatever. But I don't know that it's as bad as what it used to be, because I used to be, and I used to also definitely still want to help people. Anytime anyone comes to me with anything, I'm like, let's do this, change this. We can easily fix this. This is like a cinch, Yeah. But I'm also committed to the idea that it's okay if you don't want it, if you don't need it. Like, there is, that's completely okay.
Yeah, and it's I heard that Jim Rohn said it, that you've got to stand guard on your mind, because sometimes the people that will try and get in and really disrupt those thoughts, and it can cause some massive damage.
100%. But this is like everything in life. If we don't protect our minds, then anything can change it, or anything can taint it, or anything, exactly. Like, it's, and this is what, going back to meditation, this is what meditation gives us, is that peace of mind, that it can, like, I still get pissed off, and I'm still going to be
There's a time to use those emotions too, isn't there? Like, you don't have to completely dismiss them.
But I'm not going to but I can come out of it a lot faster.
Yeah.
I can get my mind back into a state of calm, and then look at things logically rather than emotionally, and then make decisions based on that. But guarding your mind, it's not like, but it is. It's like, you have to protect what you put in there, what seeds you plant.
100%.
And that, back to social media, going on at first thing is not what you want to plant in your brain.
No.
Not first thing in the morning anyway,
Like, first thing in the morning, you should be giving yourself a whole heap of love.
100%. Fill
Do your gratitude
up.
and tell yourself how much you love yourself. Tell yourself how much you love your house, how much you love your family, how much you love this, how much you love the earth. Fill yourself up with all that.
So I've been doing this practice for a little while, which is every morning I do 10 things I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
And then I also do 10 things I'm grateful I created in the world. Or so they're basically my goals, but in present tense.
Yeah.
So filling yourself up like that gets your brain programmed for going after what you want, rather than mindless engagement on social media, because it is, you know, like sometimes it can be, you know,
we all get sucked into it for sure, but
yeah, I love social media. Like I love Instagram. I love looking at people's beautiful pictures and being inspired by quotes, but filling yourself up with that first thing in the morning is probably not the best way to start the day. You know?
No, because it's not self-fulfilling for you. It's not giving anything to you besides it, because a lot of people will be looking through it and looking for validation or comparing themselves to other people and what they're doing in their lives, or seeing all these glossed up images of whatever it is that, you know, it kind of starts chipping away. And that's, you know, another reason that I don't watch the news and I don't listen to the radio, because there's a lot of propaganda and a lot of bullshit and a lot of fear in that. And even like I'm sometimes now really selective with the movies that I watch. And because
I am also.
Yeah.
You know, I don't watch anything scary.
If I do, like, you know.
We have to watch Disney films.
I have to watch, like my go-to after I watch a scary movie, because I don't like them, but my daughter loves them. I have to watch Moana straight afterward.
Yeah, the Disney
because it puts me in a happy place.
For sure.
You know, because that shit can infiltrate into your mind, unless you've got a super, super strong mind.
And create negativity and fear and all those things that are not conducive for the life that we want to live.
100%. And if you're filling up your cup every morning, like you know, like what you do and like what I do, you're filling up to be able to give to people as well.
For sure. Yeah, like I think, I can't remember where I read this, but it's like basically when you tell your brain those things in the morning, you're giving your brain the roadmap of getting you to wherever it is you want to get to. Yeah. So, you know, like by affirming whatever it is, what goal it is you want to achieve, you're saying to your brain, show me the way. Yeah. And what a beautiful thing to start your day with. Then rather amazing. Than, you know, and I think that intention and that consciousness of like being in control, because that's what you are when you make those decisions. Yeah. You get it, it's empowering. You know, and then you can just like get to control everything about your brain, you know. But another note about social media, because I think the other problem is it's been designed to light up your brain centers. It's been designed to fire pathways in your brain that make you feel
it's almost like a release of an endorphin in some weird, but like there's for sure people that constantly have to check their social media every 20 minutes.
Because it's addictive though. Yeah. And, you know, even like the phone flashing, your phone can flash and then it can be on the other side of the room, but your brain can detect it. And that is another endorphin kick, you know? So I think a remedy to that can be like, you know, keep your phone out of the bedroom.
How do you get off social media?
Wow. I'm not off social media. So
well, okay. So how do you limit it?
So for me, I don't have a personal social media account. I only are on social media for business. Yeah. But I think limiting it has to be connected to limiting your phone activity, because the two are interconnected. So you can very easily delete the app, but you probably go looking, you know, use the URL and like trace it down. So I think, you know, disconnecting yourself from your phone, which, you know, I do very well.
Yeah. Yes. Try calling her.
Because I don't want to have that connection to my phone. So my phone is not with me all the time. My phone is not an extension of me. Yeah. It's available to me to use whenever I need it.
How about you do like talking on the phone?
Well, I love communicating, whatever. But so for me, you know, like, and look, it can be tricky with my business not to keep my phone in the bedroom, because a lot of the business happens during the night.
I thought you were going to say a lot of the business happens in the bedroom. Where are we going with this?
Okay, well, probably not. But yeah, but turning it off, you know, being really clear about how many times you're going to pick up your phone in a day. Yeah. You know, I'm only going to check my phone 3 times a day. Stick to it, make it a game. What I used to do, this really like good conditioning tool I used for changing my behaviors, was I had like a chunky elastic band. Do you remember?
Yeah, I used to like that because I could come up and just give you a whack with it.
I don't use that anymore because my mind is better. But I think it's a really great tool to condition yourself that when you do behaviors that you don't want to continue anymore, you flick yourself with an elastic band. And I can tell you really quickly, does your brain learn to change?
Don't like that. Yeah.
Don't
100%.
like that.
Is it even too, like, could you go through a process of writing down pros and cons and saying, okay.
If your brain works like that.
Yeah. If your brain works like that, write out a list, pros and cons about being on. So if you're, flat stick with the social media stuff, and if you can't get off it, and if you have to look at it, if you're on there every hour, I think that's a problem. I've been there for certainly for times where I'm on it every hour. And then I'm like, what the hell am I doing? And what the hell am I getting out of this? What validation am I looking for?
Yeah. And I suppose, part of that conversation needs to be about digging deeper into yourself to look at what is it that is drawing you to it. Yeah. Is it loneliness? Is it inspiration? Is it validate? What is it? And identifying those things that make us go back to it.
Yeah.
Because social media can be a great tool, but an addiction to social media isn't so great.
No.
And so but also that journey will take you to a place where you go, okay, where else am I doing that?
Yeah. And what are you looking for? If you're just posting a shit ton of photos of yourself or...
Exactly. Like,
just love yourself.
Yeah. And I don't it's a hard one because I don't want to be judgy and decide that, and we always preface conversations saying, I don't want to be judgy means I'm going to be judgy.
Yes. Okay. Judge away.
But I suppose, that question has to be, why do I need people to look at me and love me on this platform? Yeah. Instead of me loving me. Yeah. Because,
and that's where the perfect opportunity to think, okay, well, instead of jumping on my social media every hour, jump into a 5-minute meditation every hour.
Yeah. Have some affirmations, have some mantras, decide, go for a run, do something that's going to fill you up, jump on the ground, do 20 crunches, then come back, have a glass of water. And if you still feel like going on social media, do it. But give
yourself something first.
Yeah. Because I think that's more of a pandemic than anything else in this world right now.
Oh, 100% it is, because, everyone needs, everyone is beautiful and amazing in their own unique way, whatever way that is. And, the sooner that people start to understand that and really love and accept themselves, the less we need all this bullshit.
For sure.
Use your phone to call someone or send someone a message, or how many people send people video messages? No one does. And that's one thing that I really want to start doing, is just jump on my phone every day for 5 minutes and spend some time to just create a 30-second video message for the people that I love or the people that I think are going through a hard time. Send them a quick video message. Yeah. And I'd rather get something like that than be scrolling through social media.
Yeah. And there's this other thing that I talk about a lot with, everyone who listens, which is that these are platforms that you're building content for, that can then sell to you. Yeah. And you've got to be really clear that once you put that content on there, you don't own it anymore. So this is separate from the addiction stuff, but this is this other idea that fill yourself up with that. Instead of populating another corporation, populate yourself.
Yeah.
Give
yourself some love, because the more that you love yourself, the more that you can spread and give to others. All right. So we'll wrap it up with one last question, which is inspired. This question was inspired by a really good friend of mine to ask people on the show. And it was, what is your favorite pasta dish?
My favorite pasta dish at the moment, it's lasagna.
Lasagna?
Lasagna.
Do you reckon you could ever go past lasagna though? For me, it's always a toss-up with lasagna or gnocchi.
No, I was about to say gnocchi, but you said favorite, and I was like, I have to choose one. I don't know. Look, what if we did a gnocchi lasagna?
I like it when you fuck with pasta.
I hate it. You actually hate it.
I could just keep it nice and traditional.
Okay, all right. Well, I would say lasagna, but I would also say that gnocchi is probably. Do you know the reason I chose lasagna? Because I feel like it's more of a special you know, like I'll have lasagna only
Christmas.
Exactly. It's a special occasion one, kind of has a lot of good feelings attached to it, or you have to have a lot of time. So
I feel like pasta tonight. This is the problem every time I start talking about pasta or I put something on Instagram about pasta. All I want to do
when
is...
don't you ever feel like pasta?
I always do. I always do.
But so like the next podcast, we need to be eating the lasagna.
Done.
Oh, do you know what you should do? For your next guest, you make them the food, that the pasta dish that the previous guest had said was their favorite.
Well, once the pandemic is over, we're going to start doing them either in the office or at my house.
Yes.
So then we can I can cook up the pasta and then we can be eating it.
I feel like we need to like put this podcast on hold and then get me back.
No, we'll do this one and we'll do another one.
I've been cheated. Like,
no, you can always come back and I'll make you a plate of pasta.
Thanks, Ra.
But we better wrap it up. Thank you so much for your time.
Yes, thank you.
This is the most time I've had with you for ages.
I know, the longest time.
Yeah.
It's been fun.